Brothers and sisters, we have a very powerful lineup of speakers this evening. The first speaker is a community activist, a community giant. He's an alderman, and recently he has been leading the charge against dengue in this region, in our country. I want you to welcome a former senior manager at Petrotrin. He might be small, but he's a giant of a man in service. Let us welcome Alderman Gowtam Maharaj, Chairman of the Penal Debe Regional Corporation.
Okay, whoever invented that timer certainly did it for politicians. Yeah. Good afternoon, all members of Parliament, members of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union. We shall overcome. Beautiful people of Siparia, and most importantly, our opposition leader, member of Parliament for Siparia, and the best Prime Minister that Trinidad and Tobago has ever had, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisasa. What better living example of the voice of the people is the voice of God than this gathering here today? It is the vision of Kamla Prasad Bisasa on the democratic principles by which the UNC operates, to be able to meet with the people, and not just meet, but your voices, your input will find its way into the hallowed walls of the Parliament in the budget submission of the United National Congress and the opposition. What a giant feat that is, and that has occurred already, because at the last budget exercise, that is exactly what took place. And for those who recall, names were actually called, organizations were actually referenced, meaning that your contributions are real and valuable and taken into account through this exercise. I will start with what pains me most. This is nearing the end of August, and in 1 week's time, the registers at the PDRC will be open for people to come and sign up to show interest in jobs. And do you know the numbers that have been reached in recent times in terms of people indicating that they are looking for 10 days? 500. 500 persons, men, women, young children, single mothers, would show up at the doors of the Penal Debe Regional Corporation, waiting in long lines to sign, to hope to get a 10 days job. And that has increased dramatically over the years recently, because of course, it is no secret that some of the major employers have had to close their doors. Some have been shut down, so that all of these people are now on the breadline, and they have families to take care of. Petrotrin right here has been shut down. What social impact assessment has been done to take care of all of the people, all of the families, all of the children that have been victims of that closure? None, none, none. So these people are all unemployed. And together with that, the small business, the roti shops, and all of the other food shops and whatever would have serviced that organization are now been closed, and nothing is in place. Tied to that is the fact that the mainstream education system in this region and throughout Trinidad and Tobago is focused on the academic route. But we know for a fact that there are persons, there are students, there are children who are taken naturally more to the skills and vocational part. And we have absolutely nothing in place for children who are of that interest area. Because Petrotrin has closed down, the apprenticeship program has closed down. So my call, my budget submission today is that we must have an apprenticeship program reopened in this region. In my Emancipation Day speech in La Romaine, when we installed the walls of inspiration on the St. Benedict's High School walls, I made a call for an apprenticeship program to service the La Romaine youths. The Councillor for La Romaine is here, because we are hearing of a waterfront project, but just that you are hearing of. Nothing else. What goes with it has to be done now. It was the UNC that had the plan to take care and to expand on a marina operation, ship repairs, work that we could have been trained up, our young people could have been trained up in, and be able to contribute in a very, very valuable sector, an income-earning sector. So that when the UNC get back in government, that is definitely must be a plan. But for now, it is a submission in the budget that we must take care of our young people, because it is unavoidably and inextricably linked to crime, because when you're unemployed, you're in poverty, you're at home, you don't know where your next meal is coming from. Ideas come into your head, And one of the most graphic examples is the lady who stole the books. No one is saying it is a right action. But when you look at the motive, you look at the context behind it. A child has to go to school and she has nowhere else and there's no avenues opening up. The government has stymied every possible avenue for employment. Companies are down, as I said. What would people do? Where would they go? So again, I make the call. Open an apprenticeship program. We had an NAC program in Debe. It's shut down. That institution is closed. A little bit of MIC is running in Clark Road. We need more programs in it. Hospitality, tourism. We have an example here of where trade runs, has a booming mechanic business. We can train people in mechanic, in small engine repairs. We have names in Pinal that are big in hairstyling. And Roti Shop, Joy's in Florida, is a product of Mohis Road. We have the capability. We are calling on the government to nurture it and open an apprenticeship program, take care of our youths. I will move on now to the dengue situation because I know that people are calling for spraying and so on. Dengue treatment needs an integrated insect vector management plan, one which the government and the Ministry of Health has not provided. At the PDRC has submitted a request, a proposal for increased funding. And I should not say increase. Actually, the allocation that has been given at the last budget has not been released as yet for that particular vote. So that we are now stymied. We want to do the education drives. In fact, we are doing bits and bits. We have surpassed 20,000 households in Dynafogging. And that deserves a round of applause because we have taken the limited resources we have and we have put 4 teams, 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. We care about you, but we have made an appeal to be able to get more funding so we can do the cleanup, we can do the bulk waste. All that matters for us to have a dengue-free environment. And we have also been saying that the data should be taken from all of the private medical practitioners because if not, a treatment plan will be skewed. And that is why we are having more and more deaths in the region. 60% of the region sits in the South Oropouche River Basin. We need infrastructural works also. The development funding, which is supposed to have been released at the beginning of the fiscal year, has been released this month. And you have until September 30th to complete all of those works. So all of those box trains that have been put up, all of those box culverts are now in jeopardy because if September 30th reaches and you have not completed and sent back the invoice, you lose that money. It goes until taken from the next year's allocation. So I have shared 2 of the major areas that I would like to be taken into the budget submission. I see my time is up. And I ask that these be taken into it. And I give thanks again to the political leader of the United National Congress for the vision to have this open session. Thank you very much.